Okay, hi everyone, it's PK here, and I'm joined here with Ash, who is one of my clients in Sydney. Um, I am doing this video with Ash because he's just secured, it's unconditional now, he's secured a pretty fantastic property through the Property Investment Accelerator. We were just chatting about it before going live or before hitting record. So it's $486,000 with most likely about 460 a week in rent. So that's cash flow neutral, which is great. Low set brick and tile house in a suburb that's grown maybe $60,000 already, with all of the data factors showing that growth is going to continue to be there. So when I say data factors, I mean things like this is an owner occupier suburb. Now it's hard to get anything decent under $500,000, but it's an owner occupier suburb, less than 20% of renters there. Days on market is 50, so that means that properties are selling very, very quickly. Huge online search interest, stock on market trending downwards, which means the supply story is getting better. Vacancy rates under 1%, which means it's actually hard to find something if you're wanting to rent. Discounting is nothing. So it's a really, really good suburb with the data. As Ash, you'll be confident that this will continue going up really well. But I think what Ash just told me, which I was most pleased to hear, is that it's subdividable. So yes, we want something that is positive cash flow. Yes, we want something in a growth area, but when you can get something that's subdividable, this one has this 20-meter street frontage, and the surveyor has said that even now it can be subdivided, not that we'd want to, it's in pretty good order, but in 5 or 10 years time, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of extra to be made should Ash choose to do so. So pretty fantastic deal. In this video, I just want to ask Ash some questions to help you guys, to help you understand how to get these properties, to help give you the confidence on how to buy high performing properties, especially interstate. Like this one is not in Sydney, it's not in New South Wales. Ash is in New South Wales. He didn't catch a flight or anything, much to the dismay of his friends. He was just telling me before that they were saying, oh, look, you didn't smell the air or, catch the breeze in the local city. He said, no, not really. Everything was done remotely. So yeah, pretty awesome deal. So yeah, congratulations. Ash, I think you started the course in December, you were just saying, and then you started looking for properties in January, and you got this one in March. So yeah, congratulations. What do you think about your deal? Are you pretty happy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the deal, but I would say that when I started the course in December, I would say I was in zero knowledge with the property market and the investment. But where I'm sitting now with the whole journey that I bought the property through, and the knowledge I have to buy a property is significantly different now, because 3 months before I didn't know anything about the property market and investment. But by doing that course, I know a lot of things which normally people don't know. And then I've got a property which is high performing, already positive cash flow. I don't have to invest anything into it, and in a good condition as well. So, and as I said, it's subdividable. If I think to maybe 10 years or 12 years down the line, it can be done as well. So pretty happy with, and especially when I started looking to invest in the property uh, 3 months back, because I bought my principal residence to live in 2018, and back that time I wasn't aware of all these data points or what to look for to buy a place. So it just of more of friends' advice and looking into the market. I just bought it in Sydney, the area I'm living in, and I would say I just got lucky. So I got lucky, and the market eventually in this area just got some hot interest in last 2 years, and then when I was started thinking about investing, it was the time when I started your course. I just got my mortgage broker to get the equity out, and luckily the valuation came back really good. So that's the, and when I had the equity, I started looking into the Facebook groups, and there are so many Facebook groups, and as you look at more information, it kind of confuses you where to look, where to buy. And I was looking to buy, honestly, a land in the same area. So, and I didn't even know about, whether the land will appreciate in value or not. And I just thought it will eventually, and I'll just buy a land irrespective of looking at the market trends. So anything. But when I started looking into the Facebook groups, I stumbled upon one of your group as well. And then eventually, the luckily is one of my friend is also one of your clients. So I spoke to him over the phone and he said, no, I have done the course. I bought the property through him. And I said, because he can vouch for you. So I just went ahead with his words and I signed up for the course. And I would say thank to him as well because I got something that I could rely on. And I'm into IT and especially in the data area as well. So I like to see the data, and especially this course is all about the data. So, and it was so intuitive that when I started the course, I finished this in 3 weeks only.
Mhm.
Uh, I think I remember it was around Christmas time when I finished the course, and it was so interesting to see all the data and then act upon the data points and then started, and start your journey for the property investment. But when I started, it was Christmas time, so I started calling agent, but they were not available. They were on holidays, so I had to wait for a little time for them to come back and then start calling them again in January first week. And yeah, and then I found this deal in March. So pretty
Yeah.
happy with the journey.
Oh, that's good. It's good to hear. And so, you mentioned that you drew equity out of your principal place of residence to fund the deposit for this investment property, which is your first investment property. Um, and you mentioned, you were lucky, and that's great in the original principal place of residence. A lot of people have this mindset. I don't want to stereotype, but my background is obviously Indian, um, Chinese, like especially these cultures, we have this kind of stereotype at least of saying, look, let's buy our principal place of residence, pay it down, or at least pay it down 50% or more, and then we can kind of think about doing these risky things like property investment. Like, tell me about your mindset. Is that how you thought as well, or were you always thinking of, taking equity and buying and building a portfolio? Like, what was your thought process around that?
I think my thought process was the same as you said, a lot of Indian background and the Asian background. So when I bought the property, I started looking how to pay off the property quickly, so that I can get the loan reduced and then buy something else, which I don't know, which will probably take 10 years or 12 years to, even if I pay more for my EMI, I don't know how much time it's going to take for me to quickly pay off the loan because properties in Sydney are not cheap. So my loan is obviously is not low as I can pay in 10 years. But then I started looking into, and some of my friends they've been here. So it's been 7 years for me in Australia, but some of my friends it's been here for 20 years, and they've done well in the property market in Australia. So I started chatting with them, and they said you have to come out from that point of mind. So that state of mind is different because you when you come from India, you pay off the loan quickly in India, and you want to live your life. And there's no equity concept in India anyway.
Yeah.
So they said you have to get the equity out and reinvest that somewhere else so that you can get a positive cash flow. And he has done well in the property market. So I went with his advice. But up until that point, I didn't sign up for your course. But when I signed up for your course, I already had that in my mind that I'm going to get the equity out and use that equity to invest. But as I said, I had that in my mind, but I didn't know where to invest. So that thinking was already changed. But to find the investment property wasn't easy because it wasn't even easy after signing up for your course because market was so crazy,
Yeah.
and I was buying in like top 5 or 4 suburbs in where I bought. So it wasn't easy in to buy the property either because people are emotional. They were putting 50, 60K up from what it was advertised for. But yeah, but I'm happy with what I've got, and I'm happy that I could get the equity out in just 1.5 year from moving into my principal place of residence. And now after from so my I was chatting with my wife, so we were a tenant just 1.5 year ago. Now we are going to become a landlord in just 1.5 years. So that journey was good, being tenant to a landlord in just 1.5 year.
Yeah. 100%. That's a good way, interesting way to put it for sure. Um, and so like when you did the course, like I don't even think of course, I think we exchanged emails and messages on Facebook Messenger, but I don't think we actually ever had like a call like this. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you were basically able to, without any pre-existing knowledge of any market. You're able to take all 15,000 suburbs and pick the best few suburbs, you know, outside of Sydney in your case, like completely objectively. Like a lot of people, they think that you need to really know the market, you need to be studying it in depth, you need to live and breathe property to, you know, become a property investor. Or if you can't do that, then you just outsource it to like a buyer's agent or something. Like, was it, I haven't asked you this before, so I hope it doesn't go the wrong way, but was it easy to find the suburb? Like, yeah, talk to me about the data. You know, you're in IT. Was it straightforward or was it objective? Like, was it something that can be done just quite in a way that's self-dependent, self-reliant? Like, what was your experience?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's tough. I would just say it's lengthy. So you have to study data for because you're getting it from 15,000 to top five. So you can't just do some filters and get it down to five. You have to actually study the data to get it down from 15,000 to five. So it wasn't tough at all. It is just lengthy. So it took me some time to get it from 15,000 to 50, and then from 50 to five top five servers. But everybody who can do the course can easily do them by themselves. It's not a rocket science, and it's same as you when you study in school and when you study in engineering. You do the course and then you apply it into the real life. So as I studied IT, I studied a subject and then I applied it practically. So once you have done the course, you know what to apply the filters, you know what data points to look for, and I've done the same thing in my career as well. I've studied something and then you apply that into your real life, into where you go for the clients or into IT. But if I relate this to this course as well, once you have studied the course, once you know what data points to look for, what sites tell you the data points and where to look for, once you put them all together, it wasn't tough for me to get to the five suburb. And the reason I didn't have a call with you, as you said, is that I got the confidence just in me by putting those five suburbs together. And I could see, because when I started hunting for the property, I was looking into those top five suburbs, and I could see why those top five suburbs were so hot.
Yeah,
Because some people who are bias agent obviously knew that these are the top five suburbs. So and it's funny, when I used to call some agents, they would say I'm a real estate agent plus a bias agent as well. So and he would tell me that, do you want me to find a property for you to buy? And I said no. I already know the suburbs. That's why I'm bringing you in for the suburbs to buy the property. So it's really not tough. It's just about reading the data and then invest your some of time to put those points together and get the top five suburbs. Obviously, finding the property is other thing, but once
yeah,
you get those top five suburbs, you get the confidence there, and then you can go from top five suburbs to find your property.
brilliant, brilliant. That's really useful. I think that will really help people because, like, if you can do it systematically in an objective way without having to rely on, you know, experts, then that kind of means that you can do it on rinse and repeat for your second, third, fourth investment property, which is, you know, why you do a course in the first place, to learn. All right, so that's first part, like where, and then the how is just as important. You know, obviously everyone wants to know where is the next boom suburb and all this kind of thing. But as you told me earlier, it's all good and well to find a place that's increasing in price, but to actually buy in that kind of market is not easy. So what is the advice that you would give someone, you know, whether they're a client of mine or not a client of mine, whether they're buying to live or buying to invest, when they're trying to buy in a market that is hot, where people are giving ridiculous offers, which is the case in many parts of Australia right now, having gone through that process, having got something that, you know, like your property you were saying before, someone else actually bid more than 500,000 for it. They decided not to go ahead with the property in the cooling off period. You were the second highest bidder. It came back to you. And then after the building and pest inspection, you were able to negotiate even further to get it, you know, at valuation. You didn't overpay for the property. Like, what's one piece of advice that you can give to anyone that's watching this, either on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, to help them buy a property in a booming market?
Yeah, so I would say the first thing is you have to keep patience. And at some point of time, even I was thinking about it a lot, but because I was putting a lot of offers on the property that were ticking all the boxes for me, But obviously in this hot market, if I put the offer, which is even I was putting the offer above asking price, somebody's will put 20K or 30K more than what my offer is. And I was really struggling to see like what is the best offer for me. So you have to just keep patience. And the second thing is, because I already had the relationship with the real estate agents, they would sometimes send me the off-market deals as well. So
Yeah.
I had one of the off-market deal available in the area I bought, but when I went with the building and basic inspection, it had some issues. So I decided not to go ahead with that property. But I could actually found some off-market properties as well, but just by building that relationship. I would say you have to just follow process. You can't be throwing your hand just in the air and doing so many things at the same time. So I followed a process starting from finding out the what I can borrow from the bank. Then second step is getting the top 5 suburbs. Third is to build the relationship with the property manager who can inspect the property for me. And it was for free. So I had one property manager for me who was going to different properties that I had finalized. She would go there and inspect the properties for free, because she knew that once I bought the property, it's kind of a potential business for them. So she was doing that for me for quite a while, but it's just that the offers were not accepted what I was putting. So this property which I bought, I put the second highest offer with more cash as well, but then somebody bet my offer from 15K, and so obviously I didn't want to go ahead from that price to some crazy offer, because people are putting crazy offers in the market. But these the in the cooling off period, the guy who put 15K more than me, they had some cold feet and they came back to the agent that they decided not to go ahead. And the agent called me, and I knew that I was the second highest bidder. So I would go and in the building and paste inspection, when the report came through, I just said there are a few things that I need to work on, and I want to negotiate, because I knew that the other offers will be lower than what I actually put the offer for. So he went back to the vendor, and they were happy to take the negotiation offer from me. So I could get from 490 to 486. And as I said, if you don't offer that, if you don't negotiate, you're not going to get that. So it's better to negotiate and see what happens. So I negotiated and I could get 4K down from the original price. So and I was happy with that as well, because I knew that you can negotiate after the building and paste inspection. I didn't know anything about the negotiation strategy before doing this course, but once you have done that, you know all these strategies that you can apply. And I would say whatever I invested in your course, PK, I could get that back from some of the strategies that I applied, all from right from the scratch to ending buying this property. So
Yeah.
it's valuable. You will get the value from the course, and I got that value already from your course. I'm pretty happy that I've done it. And it's not only one property. I'm not going to stop now, because I know what I can do, how to get the equity out and reinvest. So once I get the equity out from this on my current place of residence again, I
Yeah.
would just start thinking about the second property. So
Yeah.
so I would just say to people that once if you have to buy a property in this hot market, you have to be educated. You can't
Mhm.
just go in the market and then buy a property, because you are going to get you can't be lucky as me as I was buying my principal residence 2 years before. I can't be lucky all the time. So I
Yeah.
would say you have to do your own research. If you know, then you can buy. If you don't know, you have to study. And for me, it was easy to study through your course, because it was all in one package. There's so many information out there in the market, so you you can't just rely on all the sources of information and then put them all together, and you can't do that. So I was pretty happy with the course and the information I got through your course. And the same thing people can do. It's not a rocket science. You have to just invest some time. If you have time, invest in the course, and then you can do it yourself.
Yeah. No, well said. I think, the message that I normally say is that if you can invest in high performing properties and build passive income yourself, then do it yourself. You don't need to do my course. But if you can't do that and you're just going round in circles online, like I think maybe a little bit like you were, Ash, different Facebook groups and all this kind of thing, YouTube and stuff like that, then pick someone that you vibe with. There's 1,001 property experts in Australia, and they all have their own agendas. I have my agenda. But you really need to find someone you can trust. Trust is pretty hard to gain in the real estate market in Australia, because you see so many ads and marketing. Like, last question, Ash, what kind of, let me rephrase this. My course is not cheap. It's not like a $3,000 course or one of these cheap courses. There's a million of them out there. How did you bring yourself to spend all this money on a course, when perhaps your friends were saying, look, anyone can buy property, just buy in Rouse Hill, Box Hill, or Schofields, or one of these places? Like, what brought you to actually spend? It's kind of like you're taking away from your future deposit. It's like so much, thousands of dollars. Just talk me through why did you end up doing that, or what brought you to do that?
Yeah, so as I said, when I was looking online on YouTube and Facebook, different groups on Facebook, I guess there are only two groups which have like more than 5K members in property market in Facebook. The one is obviously yours group, and then there's another one. So I joined all the groups, and I started looking for information here and there, and then I found one of the group people are just posting every day where to buy, and then others are commenting on what they think, where should you buy. And I thought it's so confusing because it's just people's ideas in their head that this is the best area to buy and that's the best area. And same advice I would get from the friends as well. But then your group was a little bit different, where you will find some videos on how to educate yourself. And there's a lot of YouTube videos from you. So I started watching the videos. And then I found one of my friend is also a client of yours. I said, because he's the client, I should just call him and ask him. So I called him and I asked him, and he said, no, because I already bought the property. He had already done your course. So he said, it's really good. It's worth of money. And once you've educated yourself, then you don't need to do this course again and again. It's one time, it's all in your head. You can probably, you have to go back and then revisit the data because the data points will change. But the course and the education, what you have studied is not going to change. So, and he could vouch for you. So when I did this course, I feel the same way. So if somebody is going to ask me, okay, how do I start my property investment from zero to a point where I can confidently buy in some suburb, I would say, and I would 100% say that do your course, because I did it. I bought the property without the help of any buyer's agent. The only way I could do it is by studying, by educating myself. And that education, and let's take this example, when you study something in your graduation or whatever kind of course you do,
Yeah.
you know that you're going to get a job by studying this particular course. You don't get that job without studying something in your university. So
Yeah.
when you do that course at uni, you get some skills out of that course, and then you get a job by having those skills. It's the same thing. When you do this course, you don't study in uni for free. You have to pay some fee. So the same way you have to pay some fee to get this course access, and
Yeah.
obviously your help whenever we need it as a client.
Yeah.
And then once you have that study, you are skilled yourself, and then you go and buy a property. So it's like starting from nothing, do the course, and then buying the property. So the course is not free. I mean, this is not a charity. So you have to pay for the course, then you get the knowledge, and especially when I am confused, and I am not sure about anything. And if I was skeptical about that property where I found something in building and placed inspection, I gave you a call and you gave me the right advice that if you're not sure, don't go ahead with it. So
Yeah.
that's where I can get a help from you as well, because you have done a lot of property investment yourself, so you would know more than me. But obviously I know more than a lot of people who don't study or who haven't done this course. I'm not saying just this course, but if they know well enough about, from any source of knowledge, if they know anything about the property market, then it should be the education. It's not through the somebody is saying buy here or buy there.
Yeah.
You know that the property, you know about the property market. It should be through the education, and that education is through some course or some podcast or whatever. But
Yeah.
I would say for me this worked out. And if somebody is going to watch this video, I would say he should talk to you or she should talk to you about this course. And if they can afford to do this course, they can get the value out of this course for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Like I think one of the issues or challenges that people face is it's such a big decision, property investment or where to buy. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to have that property reduce in value, and it becomes just too much pressure. It's like, I think many people spend more time deciding which iPhone model or which Android model phone they're going to get and like kind of doing the analysis, this versus this, than how much they educate or take time to figure out their investment strategy or where to buy. It's just because finding an iPhone is, it takes time, but it's manageable. You feel like you're in control. But with property investing, because there's so much that you don't know, people sort of think it's too hard. Everyone's saying invest in Brisbane, or everyone's saying invest in here, on all these Facebook comments or forums must be right. Or they say, look, I can't deal with it. I'm just going to outsource it, and hopefully it works out to an expert. But like you've said many times, Ash, it's not rocket science, and it's actually not hard. People have been buying properties in Australia for dozens and dozens of years, even without my course, of course. So the course is just there to make sure you don't make any mistakes, make sure that the first property does well, goes up in value, has positive cash flow, subdivision potential, or some sort of twist, so that you can build a portfolio. Not rocket science. And like I said, if you can do it yourself, absolutely just do it yourself. But yeah, I genuinely think 9 times out of 10 people can do it themselves with some education. You don't need a buyer's agent unless you don't even have 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours to spare per week. That would be a different case. So look, I won't take up more of your time, Ash. I just wanted to say congratulations, fantastic deal, great property, somewhere I'd actually not mind living in, good area as well. And like, I think the future is pretty bright with this being subdividable. And I'm pretty sure, famous last words, but I'm pretty sure in a year's time from now, you'll have ample equity from this one to buy again, and then again and again. And that's the whole idea. So yeah, thank you for taking your time out. And yeah, if anyone's watching this and has any questions, just comment below and I can answer them. Any issues or any things that you're not sure about in property investment, I'm happy to just give you the answers. And if you got value out of this video, please hit subscribe or leave a like or love or share it. That way more people can just listen to just a couple of people talking about property in an authentic way. This is truth, which is pretty rare these days in real estate circles. But anyway, I'm going to stop hitting record, and thanks for watching.